All right. I believe, are live on LinkedIn and YouTube. And we are talking about play, joy. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to our live stream. Do you need permission to play? Are you ready to unwind with joy? So, think about everyone who's watching, listening, participating. Do you think about when was the last time you played? Like really played. In the hustle of deadlines, meetings, adulting, play often gets pushed aside, right? Labeled as unproductive, even unprofessional. And I have a 10-week series going on right now on LinkedIn about, being a corporate fit and where does joy and play come into that. But I believe play is essential to who we are and to our well-being, and to our creativity, and to our connection for others. So join me for a conversation with G and Sarah and Maxine as we wave everybody, hello everybody, as we explore, without pressure. We're not trying to change anybody's mind, but I really do want to address the stigma around joy and play, because rest is radical, joy is resilience, and joy isn't a luxury. I do believe joy is essential. And I think we can make space for joy and some seriousness, right? So, just going to throw this question out there to our beautiful panelists, our wonderful, intelligent, innovative panelists. And maybe we'll go alphabetical, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, G, do you want to start with the first question of, do you need permission to play?
I absolutely do. I do. So I find this topic really fascinating, Misha, and thank you so much for inviting me here today. And just very briefly, I'm Jihan Haridi Ardanowski, HR consultant, founder of my own company, Golden Synergy Touch. And so I'm a solopreneur, as you know, many of us are. And my biggest thing with play is I don't practice what I preach. I'm terrible at it. And
Mm,
so I have yet to find a balance with having fun. A lot of times, for example, I don't take vacations. I haven't had a vacation in years, literally. I don't kind of disconnect on the weekends. I'm always working to find something to do. So my brand of play is experimenting and playing in Canva. That's my brand of play. That's the permission that I give myself. So I'm still a work in progress in that. And so I'm looking forward today to learning insights on how people give themselves the permission to play, or is it even really a big stretch for some people, like it would be for me? So,
thank you for that, G. So what I heard, which was interesting, is you need permission to play, but you need permission for yourself, from yourself. You're not saying I
exactly.
need permission from other people. I'm needing it from myself. Did I get that right?
Yes, exactly. I don't practice what we preach. When we talk about we need to give ourselves the grace in the space, right? And we're all familiar with that. I'm the worst offender. So,
Mm.
yes, I'm a work in progress, but it comes from years of working weekends and nights and just all the struggles. And I mean, I'm talking since I was a teen. So it's a lifetime of kind of, I guess, unpacking some of that. But yeah, it's really me. So I'm sure you'd give me the permission, but I say no. There's always something else to be done. So, like I said, my brand of play is a little bit different, maybe from other people's.
Wonderful. Thank you. Maxine, do you want to address the same question?
Absolutely. And gee, I really appreciate your insights. So helpful. And thanks for your transparency. My name is Maxine Gall. I'm CEO and founder of Thrive Inclusively. I started my company about a year and a half ago, and I focus on helping individuals and organizations reach their full potential. So I focus a lot on leadership development, growth mindset, mindset shifts. And I've really been passionate about helping people also do self care. And I think a
Mm,
portion of self care is finding time to play. Is everyone hearing me okay? I just want to make sure.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So I have to practice what I preach. And as a mom of two, I like to play and I like to find time to play. And it's funny because I think that As adults, once you grow up, you think, oh, I don't have time for that anymore. I did that when I was a kid. I can't do that anymore. But then I see adults playing all the time, but we may not understand it as play. For example, this morning I went out for a morning walk or run, right? I'm not crazy about the running part, but I love the walking part. And I remember as a kid, I used to love to just run up and down and walk around and use my energy. And we don't equate that as play, but it is, right? Because we're being intentional about doing something that we enjoy, doing something that's fun. And so I definitely try to incorporate play and enjoy into my everyday experience because I know that if I don't, I will become a not so nice person. And I just can't take that chance. And so I think that that's really my thoughts around that and why I think it's so important.
Thank you, Maxine. I love the I have two kids and I love to play. And I'm curious, what are some examples? And I want to get to Sarah. What are some examples of that play that you just feel like you want to do, have to do?
Going for walks, settling in with a really great movie. I think that we love to watch different movies with each other. For example, I'll give you a perfect example. We watch movies on Netflix, so I'll watch movies with the kids. But in addition to that, I've tried to incorporate a reward for myself at the end of the day. If you're an entrepreneur, you're working all the time. If you don't put time in there for something fun, then you'll just continue going. And so I am very much into historical fiction. And right now there's a show on HBO Max. I'm not trying to do a plug for them, called The Gilded Age. My reward is to watch The Gilded Age. That's my form of play. For my kids, it's let's watch a movie. Let's go for a walk. Let's check this out. Let's do that. Yeah, you have to kind of bring it in for them as well because they're watching us and they're watching the way that we manage our lives. And you want to make sure that they can look at us and move forward with a positive idea of what work, but what personal life looks like. And so that's why I think it's so important.
Yeah, thank you for those examples because I think a lot of people might perceive play as doing tumbles and jacks, like rolling down a hill, and those are that's your definition of play, right? So everybody has and is allowed, this is permission again, to have their own definition of what play is. So yeah, thank you for that, Maxine. Sarah, come on in.
Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here, Misha. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm happy to also be with Maxine and G. My name is Sarah Epping. I am a talent development consultant and certified leadership coach. I'm the principal and founder of Ashling Group LLC in Cleveland, Ohio, but I work all over the globe. And I'm so excited to say that I can actually say that now. And I've been in business for 8 years doing this kind of work. So I jumped at the chance when Misha was like, do you want to talk about play and joy? Yeah, I want to talk about play and joy. Joy is one of my most favorite things and words and things to discuss. Do I need permission to play? Not anymore. And it's taken me a long time to get to that point in my life. I think even my first few years of being an entrepreneur, you think you're going to leave corporate and your life is going to be completely different. And you're just going to automatically be able to play and shed all this stuff. And I felt tremendous guilt playing, even more guilt, I think, being a solopreneur than being in corporate, because it was like, oh, I should not be doing this stuff with my time. Right. And to see G nodding, that's a knowing nod. I know that. And Maxine too. And I used to literally drive around and I'd be like, oh my God, all these people know I'm not working today. No, they don't. They don't care that you're not working today. Right. They don't care. Everybody is more worried about themselves. And for me, my joy is different than everybody else's because joy is a relative term. So for me, joy is spending time with my nieces and nephews, who are my favorite people in the world. Joy is going for walks with my dog. Sorry, Misha, you're one of my favorite people too. I'm sorry. Joy is also spending time with my dog. So our morning walks are joyful to me. I've also realized that I have to be intentional about joy. I can't just assume joy is going to find me. I have to think about, what am I going to do today that's going to bring me joy? Because otherwise, if we just wing it, it ain't ever going to happen. We're not just going to stumble upon joy. We have to actively seek it out. It's like when you buy a car and you're like, this car is so different. Nobody else has this car. And then you see it everywhere, and it's only because you called it into your own awareness. I feel that way with joy. Once you bring it into your own awareness, it's actually all around you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Sarah. So we've had like this contrast of I need permission, but I need it from myself. I don't need permission anymore. And I got to play. I'm a mama. So hi, everybody. You all maybe know me, but I'm Misha Saffron, and I'm the founder of Center for Empathy and Emotional Intelligence. And this is a really important topic for me because there's a lot of ways in which my life has been stinted by other people's feeling that joy and play is not professional. Joy and play means I'm not mature. And the reality is, I'm really mature and sometimes need to play more to offset how mature I am. And actually, I find that maturity is an ability to be able to do both. Right? Just like we can't have empathy if we don't have emotional intelligence. We need to be able to understand who we are, what our feelings are, how we're navigating in this life when we are alongside other people doing the same thing. Right. So for me, I don't need permission to play. I play with my food. I stop and look at the butterfly, and my walks can take forever because I'm playing. I literally will crouch down on the sidewalk and look at a little worm or bug and kind of like, ooh, that's really intriguing, super curious. And the more curious I get, the more joyful I feel. So I really love that. I can relate to the mama thing. I raised 5 children and I loved wrestling with my kids. I miss it, actually. I'm totally empty nesting and having to redefine joy for myself. But I just really want to kind of take this idea of, okay, do we need permission to play? Do we not need permission to play? But once we figure out what play is for us, how do we cultivate that? How do we sustain that? So this kind of, some of you touched on this. I want to take us to another question, which is, in the workplace, what is joy? What is play? And for you, has it been acceptable? Right? You can answer any one of them. I'm a coach and I usually only ask one question at a time. So I'm feeling a little bit like I'm overwhelming everybody, but anybody can answer this. You can put it in the chat. And if people have questions and want to ask them in the chat, please feel free, whether you're on YouTube or you're in LinkedIn. But what do you see as joy or play in the workplace? And what stigma is there? So let's go backwards. Oh, actually, let's go middle. Maxine, let's start with you. Maxine in the middle.
It's so funny. I'm actually working on an article right now where I'm talking about just the power of cultivating healthy cultures within workplaces. And I think that when organizations prioritize creating healthy cultures, they provide an opportunity for people to come to work where they will experience belonging and where they will experience joy. I think that it's hard to feel joyful and it's hard to play in cultures that are stifling or toxic. And so I think that when we talk about joy, it's really about creating a space where people are encouraged to be their best self. They're invested in, they can experience growth and development. There's opportunity not just to work, but also to be creative in your workspace. And it's believed, and I heard about this years ago, but they say that people are less likely. Now, I don't know if the statistic is still true because I heard it a long time ago, but there is a belief that people are more likely to stay at a job when they have a person or they have a friend. And a part of that is connection, right? I'm going to stay. If I work with Sarah and me and Sarah, we work well together, we may or may not be on the same team, but we have a good collaboration going. If I have to leave that job, I have to consider that I have to leave Sarah. Why? Because there's a portion of that friendship that brings joy to me. And so when we talk about joy at work, I really do think it is about creating cultures where people have teamwork, they have friends, so to speak, someone they work well with, they can connect with, they can be creative in that space. And I have nothing against a wonderful opportunity to do some team building. whatever that might look like for a team or for a culture, I also think that's important. So that's what I think about when I think about joy in the workplace.
Yeah, absolutely, Maxine. I love that. You're talking also about inclusion and belonging, right? And some of these words are not allowed to be used anymore. But anyways, who says? So here we are. I organized this talk, and I'm going to use the word that I want to use.
But
But
even,
when you,
but even, can I say something, Misha? Even though
oh yeah,
we may not be allowed, even though we may not be allowed to say it, that doesn't mean that it's still not needed or it's not something that people desire. People are
absolutely,
going
and
to
that's
desire
exactly
empathy. People are going to desire inclusion. People are going to desire belonging. Even if we can't say it, no one wants to work in an environment where they don't have that.
absolutely, Maxine. You took the words right out of my mouth. That's
Sorry.
exactly. I don't even have to. No, that no. You're beautiful. You're good. Your voice is just as important. So, everybody here matters. It's all great. What I love though is that we have the same thoughts. Right? Is that it is essential because it is wanted and needed. So whatever we call it has to happen. Right? We know all of us here that 42% of turnover could be prevented. It could be avoided, but we need to do the work in the workplace. And that doesn't mean just stay in our cubbies, our cubicles, or sit stiff at a staff meeting. It means engage, interact, play, enjoy, right? And there's so much that keeps us, prevents us from building that connection. And I don't know if it's stigma. I mean, I think it's the power of it all, right? Stigma. I believe it's the challenges of how we grew up. Oh, children are meant to be seen, not heard, and maybe even not even seen, right? And so we go into the workplace like, oh, I'm an inferior, so I should be seen, not heard by my superiors, right? There's all of that. So let's come to you, Sarah. What are you feeling around work, places, joy, play? Oh my.
Oh my, I want to give Maxine snaps, and I echo every single thing that she said there. Additionally, so yes, we have to have connection at work. We know that people don't necessarily leave a workplace. They don't leave a job. They leave the toxic people at that workplace. And so the more connected and the more friends that we have at that workplace, the better. I also think that we cannot minimize that this type of spirit of play and creativity has to be role modeled from the top of the house in the organization. You cannot expect people in an organization to just automatically be creative and joyful and engaged and love being there if you yourself are not role modeling the type of environment that you want to see. Are you being joyful? Are you taking risks? Are you sort of letting that shield down, that wall of maturity, so to speak, and playing yourself? I think that's critically important. I also think that play can take on many forms at work. It can be approaching something differently and using a creative mindset. It can be celebrating things at the workplace. Celebratory play is a real thing. I agree with Maxine on team building. And my caveat in that is team building is different than forced fun. Forced fun is not play. Forced fun is not fun. Ain't nobody want to do forced fun. But when we have meaningful ways of playing and making connection, that is when team building is useful. The other thing I will say, and I coach a lot of my clients around this, is talking about joy in the workplace and playing in the workplace is important. But in order to talk about that, we also have to talk about your joy and playfulness outside of work. Because I feel that we expect our jobs and our positions to be too much in our lives. We expect them to fill our cups in every way, shape, or form. And no job can be everything to everybody. You're asking too much of a job, a boss, a coworker, a workplace, if you are not supplementing and augmenting your life with other things that also bring you joy. So if you don't have a way to play and you don't know what brings you joy, take some time outside of the workplace to do that first and do the internal work there first before you start shifting everything around at work.
Such gold, Sarah. Ladies, you are right on it. I invited the right people, and Brenda would be here, but she's got things she's doing. She's watching, she's playing, she's typing in the chat. So Brenda, you'll be joining us, I know, another time. Super excited for this. So yeah, I think, one of the things you said just now, Sarah, is that it needs to come from the top. We can't expect our people to know how to play, how to be creative, how to, that what's acceptable, what isn't acceptable. And at the same time, you at the top, folks that might be watching, you might not know, right? And that's where we all come into, no pun intended, but maybe a pun intended. That's where we all come into play, right? Is to support you in identifying what can you do that's meaningful. Going back to what Sarah said about forced fun ain't no fun, right? I know I had a training for a company and we incorporated play, and some people are like, I don't play. I'm like, okay, you can pass. I let them pass. They didn't have to participate if they didn't want to. And I will tell you what, as soon as they weren't forced and they saw how much fun we were having, they joined, right? So it wasn't forced. It was like, you can sit back and just watch. It's okay. I did a training in Massachusetts not too long ago, and it's the same thing. Please, if this is not your jam, just sit back and reflect upon what would be your jam. But having those reflective questions, and I kind of see it as a caveat to alternative education, right? Scaffolding, figuring out, do we all have to be uniform? No, right? And the other thing you said, Sarah, and I think it also had to do with what Maxine said, is if you don't know what play is for you at home or outside of work, take time to figure that out so that you can, in work, identify that connection and that meaning for yourself, right? There are a lot of people that have no idea what brings them joy, no idea what play means, because they were taught play meant something that really wasn't play, didn't feel good, right? So connecting with yourself, what is play for you? What brings joy for you? And if it doesn't do harm to you or someone else, you're probably on the right track. So thank you for that. G, come on in.
I had to unmute, excuse me. So yes, I think, first of all, yes to all of this, ladies. I just love that, again, I'm listening to this conversation for some very quick context. All of you, have kids, nieces, nephews, what have you. I really haven't had that exposure to kids. So I think that might be part of it too. So I haven't even had that fun excuse to get out and go to the beach and take them for walks and do all the things. And Misha, I love what you said though. It just in the beginning, the little things, like, oh my, just everything is a wonder to you. And I think that is so important. Just listening to this conversation, I will tell you, brings me joy on a Monday that's feeling a little heavy today, right? So regardless of where we're at, sometimes like you start the week for whatever the reasons, maybe a little bit heavier. This is a very joyful conversation and gives a lot of people opportunity to take pause. And I know I am. And I think, going back to the fun in the workplace bit, I'll tell you a really quick story. And this is not a plug for my book or anything, but I wrote a book last year. And I actually talk about, in my book, as an HR consultant at one point, I interviewed many, many years ago for a company where they promoted this culture of like, the ping pong tables and the beer, like the beer fridge or whatever. I mean, just all of it. And there was just something, they kept enforcing this, we work really hard, but we play hard too. And then, you hear ping pong is not the fix for that. Like, yes, it's nice to, chill and have ping pong, but if you're working until 7, 8 o'clock at night, is that really, how sustainable is that in the longer term? So is that joyful and fun? I don't know. Well, I ultimately didn't go work for that company. I didn't think that was going to be the right fit for various reasons at the time. But when I hear that and we see all the posts and we have those conversations, right, about the joyful and the fun workplace, I think it's all about people discovering what that joy looks like for them, because it's going to have different meaning for everyone. And, as it was mentioned here, if it doesn't start from the top down and encouraged, you don't really have very far to go with that too, which doesn't help. So there's so much of this. And I come from a place of having worked a gazillion different environments and in different teams and what have you, and everything is different. But the end sum is this: it is all about your values and communication and feeling appreciated. And from there, any conversations are possible and anything can be done and created. It depends on that buy-in, but it really does start from the top down. So again, thank you for this conversation, because it's huge, right? Especially now more than ever, Misha. Thank
you so much, G, and thank you for your vulnerability. I think that sometimes people forget that, we are made up of different backgrounds and histories and dynamics, and when it comes to with family trauma, that you have kids or didn't have kids, or and so as we embrace this definition of joy in workplace, a reminder to everyone, it's individual. It really is individual, but we can't neglect that there's a part of us that needs it to replenish and to refresh, right? And kudos to you, G, for knowing that company wasn't necessarily the right company for you. And you wrote a book, and how did that bring you joy? You had a huge smile when you talked about it. So I'm not sure. And so figuring out, like, how are we showing up for ourselves? Back to the very first thing G said, I need to give myself permission to play. Right? We don't need permission from anybody else. And I know that I spent a lot of time thinking I had to get permission from other people to be playful and joyful, that if they were okay with it, that I would be okay with it. And the reality is, no, I'm okay with me, and it's the exact energy that I now infuse in my teaching and my speaking and my training, right? So being able to be who we are is absolutely critical, to give ourselves permission for that. Yeah, Maxine, come in.
No, I was just going to piggyback on what you were saying. I think that it's a matter of really tapping into our authentic self, and finding for ourselves, what are our values? What matters to me? What are my priorities? What feeds my soul? What helps me to take care of myself? What helps me to allow me to be my best self? And I think that when we find that space to be authentic, be our authentic self, then we can align everything else against those personal values. And once we do that, then we can show up in spaces where we'll know, oh, I if this doesn't, and I heard it from the panel, this isn't going to give me the culture. The culture here is not going to fit me. It's not going to give me what I need. This may not be the best place for me to be, because we have established our values and who we are authentically. And then that will kind of dictate what spaces we'll be in, and how we care for ourselves and how we prioritize ourselves in our everyday lives.
Absolutely. And I want to add to that, because, and we're going to wrap up here, in the workplace, what you see as play and joy, you need to honor for yourself, and be aware that what you see as joy and play may not be the same definition for the person next to you. So when someone says, no, I don't really want to do that, they're not saying no to you. They're saying no to whatever that is, because they're not comfortable, or it doesn't bring them joy and play. It doesn't bring them a sense of light and levity. So we all have to remember that this is a self-exploration, and we can't, going back to what Sarah said earlier, force it on anyone, right? So I'm going to put the chat, the LinkedIn, I'm trying to think of the word, LinkedIn links for everyone that was here today. I want to encourage everyone to, that was G. I put G's link in there. I'm going to put Maxine's link in there. I really want to encourage everyone to reach out. And I forgot to get my link, but that's okay. Y'all know who I am, so hopefully y'all can reach out to me too. You need to explore this topic, I think. And if you're here and you're watching, whether it's the replay or the live, it's something captivated you, right? Is it just to see who we are and say, oh, I want to rebel against what they have to say, and play is not important. I should not play. I should not be joyful. That's fine too. But if you're ready for revolutionary joy, because that's how you kind of regain and reclaim your play, your power, and your presence, then it doesn't have to be a long journey. You can reach out to any of us, right? We are called generosity over competition. We all do similar things in the world, and we all do different things because we have our special sauce. So if you are finding that you are not experiencing joy in play for whatever reason, I invite you to reach out to the beautiful people on this screen. You have our LinkedIn, and consider the question, do you need permission to play? So we'll be back here again on July 28th, same time, same channels. I feel like we're Batman all over again, but we're Batwomen. And hopefully we'll see you soon on the stream. What I'd love to do real quickly is just have maybe one sentence from each of you to summarize your experience here today. And then we'll close out. Who wants to go first?
I'll go ahead. I'll jump in.
Go ahead, Sarah.
Oh, yeah, Sarah, then Maxine, then Jihan, and then me.
Okay. I feel uplifted today. I think I needed this, and I didn't realize that I needed this. Not just talking about this topic, but also connecting with these other fantastic women panelists here today, and I'm taking this message to heart with me throughout the rest of my week. So what a great way to kick off the week. And Misha, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Sarah.
I'm so glad Sarah went first. I echo everything that she said. I mean, she said everything that I was thinking, and I just want to, let anyone know who's watching this live or going to watch the recording of this. Remember, you're enough. You deserve love. You deserve to be taken care of. You deserve to carve out your own space for time that you need for yourself and for your family. And you should give yourself absolutely the permission to play. You should give yourself absolutely the permission to pursue joy, and whatever that might look like for you. I just want people to know that, because I think we miss that message so much, and someone just needs to know that. Grab a hold of it, right? And just kind of take that, hold it, and take it forward.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely, Maxine. G, come on in.
And again, I echo the sentiments here. This has been such an uplifting, joyful conversation today. And I think the biggest thing too, one of the things that I've really leaned into is a yes mindset. So if you've ever read the Shonda Rhimes book, A Year of Yes, accept things. Even if it's not saying yes to everything, it's just keeping an open mind. And, even in my case, like, not to say that I live every day in joy and play, but I'm open to trying new things. And it's just knowing that about myself is enough. Thank you, Maxine, for reminding me that even though I come from a different place, yes, it's enough. And I know that there are other people out there who feel the same way. Like, just, believe in yourself and the possibilities, and even showing up today or on replay and listening to this. Hopefully this message will really hit in the moment that it's needed for people. So thank you for giving us this opportunity today, Misha. And ladies, it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. I am so grateful for this. And I want to say that, yes, I'm a coach. Yes, I bring joy when I walk into a room. And it's the joy that helps me weather the storms. Because I also experience depression. I also experience a lot of pain as an empath, highly sensitive person. I feel a lot more than I really want to feel. And if I don't center myself and allow myself to access my joy, everything else will crumble me. So it's not that the play and the joy, it's not toxic positivity, right? It's how do we navigate the storms by balancing, and not that one has to be more than the other. Sometimes there's a lot more crap flying around, but if we can hold on to that cornerstone of joy, we can get through it. So thank you all of you for joining, and I hope you'll be back on July 28th, same time, same channel, maybe with some other guests as well. So stay tuned, everybody, and have a fabulous, fabulous Monday.